Hello my dudes and welcome back to Minecolonies Shogun style. Last episode we got the final building built, I think at least, on the colony. It's the concrete mixer. And so we're basically feature complete here. What I wanted to do between those episodes was get all of the buildings that we have already up to level 3. Now this kind of upgrade takes a long time, and that's why these episodes have been a bit spaced out. And I've broken with my usual schedule. So thank you for your patience because yeah, building all these buildings up to level 3, it really does take a long time. Anyway, enough of me yammering on, let's take a look at what's been upgraded between episodes. So first up, of course, down here in the lower city we have the crusher here on the left, in the middle, the estate that has the bakery in it, very cool, and on the far right we have, I think that's the stone smeltery. Yeah, the stone smeltery. And we wanted to get these buildings up from level 1 to 2, and then to 3. The estate really comes alive at level 3. And it really does look like the kind of building you'd find in like Kyoto or old school Japan. And I also love the massive kind of clay, I guess, smelting huts that the stone smeltery gets. They do look like big clay ovens. Moving swiftly on up to the higher part of the lower city, the upper lower city, I suppose you could call it. And again, we've got these two other estates. These are the glass blower and the dyer's hut. And again, just like the other estates, they really do look amazing. Honestly, you get away with just putting loads and loads and loads of these estates in your town because they look so feudal Japanese, it's really cool to see. And at level 3 as well, they get these amazing flags, and yeah, they just look fantastic. Then of course we come over to the castle. Now the castle is really a multi-block building that we haven't really placed correctly. But you don't always need to stick to the rules on buildings like this, and I do think we've made it look pretty good here with this moat. It's up to level 3 now, but it looks like level 3 didn't actually give us the archery range. We're going to have to take this to level 4, maybe even level 5, if we want to get that building on the colony. But it does look okay at level 3, but it's definitely not finished here. Then of course over here in the corner we had a lot of work to do tidying up the graveyard and the concrete mixer. These buildings didn't quite look like they belonged, so getting them up to level 2 and 3 was nice to see. And also, as you can see, we've decorated the area around, and yeah, look at this. So the water that comes down from the concrete mixer's hut now interacts with the moat that goes around our castle, and it all looks pretty good. It's all connected, you know, it's a nice organic feel to that little river. And then of course, the pièce de résistance, the Doggo Onsen, or the Dogo Onsen, but I'm going to keep calling it Doggo Onsen because I don't know. Well, there is like a giant dog on top, so, well, no, it's more like a bird. But yeah, the Doggo Onsen looks amazing at level 2 and level 3, plus this adds like a lot of buildings. There's a lot of interesting things inside this Doggo Onsen, so I'm going to take a look inside that in a bit. But there we go. Let's do a massive flyover now of the entire colony. Now that everything is level 3, it's at an acceptable standard. I really do want to get as many buildings as we can to level 4 and 5. But certainly I do think level 3 is a great place to stop if you want to. No building really needs to be level 4 or 5, they're really just for decoration and performance upgrades. You can generally get away with having everything at level 3, but the lower city is now totally complete. The upper city as well is pretty fleshed out. Now I say that these areas are complete, but that's kind of a lie. There's still a lot of decoration to do here and there. We gave everything like a quick once over, added trees, grass, flowers, fences, all that jazz. And that's gone a long way to making the city feel pretty finished, but there's still a few areas here and there that do need a little bit of attention. We're going to have to come back and obviously fix and decorate a few areas. Now, which areas are those? Well, yeah, you've probably noticed, but I'm going to remind you right now. The lower city, of course, this area here, the roads don't really connect correctly, plus we were going to put a building in the corner here, but we changed our mind. It was going to be the concrete mixer's hut, We moved that to the back of the lower city. What that means is this area is primed for decoration. We've also got this area next to the graveyard, the concrete mixer, and the doggo onsen. It's a bit flat, it's a bit bare bones at the moment. I'm thinking some decoration, some lanterns, and of course some trees, sakura blossoms, will really help elevate this area. We also have my personal little kind of resource gathering garden. Basically, we set this area up as a place for me to do different mods and things to get the materials we need, like mystical agriculture, farming acacia, sugarcane, cotton, and of course our Zycraft machines. But this area, once we're done, we won't need it, so we can kind of replace this, decorate it, or put something else more interesting here. And of course, how could I forget, well no I haven't forgotten because I'm talking about it right now, but the village. We had grand plans for a little kind of rural village on the outskirts of the city. It's here and there's a massively cool fishing boat over here with 2 fishermen's huts on it. Obviously the guard tower here as well to extend the range, but there's so much more we could do with this area on the outskirts of the town. I'm kind of torn on this. I'm thinking maybe we could finish this area, decorate it, add some farms, but also because once this city is finished, I'll be uploading it for Patreon members to get their hands on, and maybe it'd be cool if you guys at home that wanted to download could finish up the colony. This gives you something else to kind of really add a finishing touch to and expand out of the city. But yeah, that was a look around the city, and you know what? It's looking really cool. I'm not quite sure if it's as cool as Byzantine was. That was Major League epic, but it's definitely looking really nice. But anyway, we're at level 3 this episode. Let's see what it takes to get to level 4. Now, there's no way we could start this episode without exploring the doggo onsen. This thing looks really cool, but I want to take a look inside and see what it's got lying around. There's this blackstone slab stuff over here, the panels, and I guess these are like just beds. People to come and sleep in. It's a mystical site after all, so people might want to stay here and do their mysticking. Sure. And hidden away out the back, we also have the Alchemist's Tower. Now, we didn't do the research for this, which means we don't actually have this at level 1. And it's a pretty important building. Well, it's not mega important. Basically, it's useful if you want to use potions, or if you have a lot of druids. But I've never really rated druids as guards, so I don't know if we really need it. However, we're still going to build it, because why wouldn't you? There's a little private onsen in the middle here. Ooh, very kind of, you know, secluded. And in fact, if you keep looking around, all of the little onsen areas are nice and sealed off. I really do like these white paper extra framed thin walls. They're actually see-through, which I think is a really nice touch. Although not really what you want at an onsen where people are going to be getting naked. Oh yeah, and look at this, a towel rack. A big old carpet here, and a picture of a man burning his hand. Wild. What a crazy man to be burning his hand. What is he, fireproof? Probably not. Anyway, let's move on. So we've got the concrete mixer's hut as well. This has got some exposed copper, and that was actually a real pain to get. But it's made me realize actually I probably should have put down a lot more copper, because getting buildings to level 4 is going to require some copper. But the concrete mixer's hut is not super essential. Concrete really is not that common for build requirements. Honestly, my favorite thing about the graveyard is how amazing these dark diorite brick pathways look. This is a really cool material. It matches really nicely with the tuff here. Oh yeah, I just love the grain and feel of this building. It's very cool. And also these white banners really do look like they got like Japanese writing on them that you just can't quite make out. It's really cool looking. The castle over here isn't really anything special just yet. It's a cool looking building, but it still does feel a bit bare bones inside. Maybe that's by design because it is just a military building and people don't really decorate army bases, do they? But you got the barracks over here, 2 combat academies, and upstairs I think eventually there will be an archery range, but I think it's hidden behind level 4, maybe even level 5. So this is a building to prioritize getting to level 4. So over here at the estate, and obviously we have the glass blower's hut over here. We don't have a glass blower because we ran out of workers last episode. We're going to have to hire some more dudes. But if we take this cheeky door to the side here, I had to modify this because these buildings were a bit close together and they didn't look too good right next to each other. But we've also got the dyer's hut over here, And we do have a dyer. It's a Bobo head. And oh man, is that a Bobo on your head? Looks amazing.
What is it?
He's sad because he doesn't live nearby, but that's something we can actually fix. So we have a lot of empty houses over there in the Machia. Oh, but also, actually, hang on a sec, what am I talking about? The estate itself is a residence, so we can just move Sir Bobohead over here, and that's going to make him getting home much, much easier. Here it is, 0 of 3, so manage housing, why don't we get Bobohead over here? Set it to manual, and yeah, because at the moment, he's probably like real far away. It's always a really good idea to come over to your houses and just make sure that the people that work nearby actually live here as well, because that's going to help them out loads. And so now, taking the long way around, although there isn't really a quick way down to the lower city, I do love these stairways though that we've built. I think these are really attractive ways to get around. So we've got over here a residence, and what would make a lot of sense is if this builder, the crusher, the baker, and of course the stone smelter all lived over here in this house. That would make a lot of sense. We can only fit 3 guys in here for now, but yeah, Helga Blue, Jessim Bits, Dunmore the Diva, these guys now live very nearby. It really is a good idea to make sure that the closest guys are actually living in your houses. You never really want a worker to work more than about 100 blocks from their house, and yeah, honestly, much lower than that is a much better idea. What I want to do now is come over here to Dunmore the Diva's Builder's Hut, because yeah, if we're going to get to level 4, we need to work out what the Builder's Huts need to get to level 4. Everything starts with the Builder's Huts, so this is an important moment. Okay. So, cyan brick, that shouldn't be too hard. Cyan as a dye isn't too hard to get, I don't think. We'll need to mix blue and green, and that's like the easiest thing in the world. We can use lapis lazuli for the blue, we can use cactus for the green. We've got loads of cactus. We've also got dye essence from our little mystical agriculture farm, so getting the cyan is not going to be a problem at all. But I think it probably would still be a good idea for us to go over and configure our flower shops. What other materials are required to get this to level 4? There's blackstone bricks. We found loads of blackstone in the nether. It's not actually that rare, but if you guys are building your colony, do make sure you pick up blackstone because, you know, it's the kind of thing you're going to want. Now, the big thing that signifies you're going to level 4 is you start to need materials from the deep ocean, and that means sea lanterns. You can see here you've got the framed sea lanterns, we've got regular sea lanterns. There might even be some other kind of sea lanterns down here if we keep going. Sea lanterns themselves aren't too hard to get. A sea lantern is literally just prismarine crystals and prismarine shards, and both of these are gathered at the fisherman's hut. Both the shards and the crystals can be fished up, as long as your fisher is level 3. That's the big thing. And luckily enough, both of our fishermen are, so I'm sure we've gathered loads and loads of prismarine in the background. Is there anything else tricky going to level 4? Let's take another look. No, do you know what? It's all relatively simple. It's all just woods I've already gathered. Cyan brick. There's an orange candle, which is just a candle, which is beeswax. So we've got to make sure our bees are okay. I don't think we did them. And then a candle dyed with orange dye to get you the orange candle. Super simple. And of course, right, so oxidized cut copper slabs. This could be tricky. Oxidized, how are we going to get some oxidized cut copper slabs? Oxidized copper is gathered from weathering copper. Oh my god. So wait, can I weather copper from... Oh, no way. So it looks like in all the mods 10, there is a cool little machine called the weathering station. It's simple to make. Again, we're going to need some beeswax or some honeycomb and a composter, but using this, we're able to turn blocks of copper all the way into oxidized copper. That's pretty cool. Okay, nice little hack for you guys there. And that's about it for complicated materials. So, number 1, let's go and make sure that our flower shop is all set up. So there are a lot of names over here in the tavern. Can't wait to check those guys out. Before we do, we're going to need an injection of gold. So let's check my smeltery. I should have some lying around. Oh yeah, beautiful. Look at all that lovely stuff. And in fact, let's upgrade our experience from baked potatoes to steaks. Oh yeah. So here we go. We've already got a Dunmore Dale. Have we got a war boy? I don't know if we've got a war boy. So we'll get a war boy in. Welcome to the crew. There's Lucia Mora, very Italian. Welcome to the crew. There's a bee. Can't hire a bee. Sakura Baby. Oh wait, you're the builder, aren't you? What are you doing here? You just having a break? Sure. Oh, look at this. We've got Fibble Fester. What a name. And I don't think Fester has actually joined the colony yet. Fester is, of course, the community manager over on our Discord. He does a great job, and it's a tough job because, yeah, there's a lot of faff to deal with on the Discord. There's Dingus Darkholme. Don't think we have a Dingus. Always happy to have a Dingus on the colony. Oh, and it looks like somebody is upstairs. Sirius the Shogun. Ooh, we've already got one Shogun, but maybe 2 Shoguns is good. Always good to have some rival Shogunry going on because, yeah, competition is the key to success. Isn't that what they say? And you know what? That's about it for now. We'll come back to the tavern. Oh, you know what? We've got loads of space, so we'll get you in, Dunmore Dale. Why not? Let's head over to the flower shop now and get all of the flower shops hooked up. Oh, Jessim Sherma. We don't have a Sherma, so we'll get you in. I went around and I fixed the foresters' huts because these got a bit gummed up. You do have to be careful. Make sure you keep an eye on your foresters, because if you're not careful, they will, yeah, just slow down and stop working. How's this guy doing over here? Yeah, amazing. Gregor Mora is also hard at work chopping down these trees, keeping us fully stocked with wood. So here we go, the flower shop. We put in 1 florist, didn't we? Over here. No, we didn't. So we've got 3 flower shops and no florists. Let's get these guys on the go. Manage workers. We've got a bunch to pick from. So we're going to go for the best stats here. Fibble Fester looks like an amazing florist with 25 dexterity. I guess you need those nimble fingers for picking those plants. Right? Sure, I've never picked a plant in real life, so I wouldn't know how nimble your fingers need to be, but I can imagine it's pretty damn nimble. Jessim Sherma has good stats for this. So we'll get you in, and also who can be our final florist? Probably Lucia Mora. She's also got good stats. Ooh, although Sirius has 32 agility and 13 dexterity. That could be... yeah, I think we'll go for that, because that's a big secondary stat. And of course, we're going to need a beekeeper over here at the apiary. This is all empty. We've got some bees in there, and they're hard at work getting all the honey, but obviously these hives are full to the brim, because we ain't got a beekeeper to pull them out. And in a perfect world, we could get Jason Statham, who is my favorite beekeeper, but you know what? We're going to have to settle for, it's going to be Lucia Mora. There we go, you got good stats for this, so we'll get you in as our beekeeper. What do these guys look like? Okay, that's a very basic beekeeping outfit for Lucia. But yeah, as you can see, we've had a bee problem on the colony for a long time. We've had bees left, right, and center all over this place, which I don't mind because I think bees really do bring a colony to life. This one's coated in some white stuff. Ugh. But yeah, catching some bees and putting them in the beekeeper's hut was not a problem at all. Ah yeah, here we go. So she's put on her beekeeping outfit, which it turns out is really just a bit of like a weird face mask. Sure, whatever, Bane. Get back into the beekeeper hut and get us some honey. So, the flower shop. Let's get some florists in here and get them over here and see what they look like. And again, yeah, it looks like our florists have a pretty simple look. That brown kimono that we see people wearing all the time, and a green apron, sure. So, we want to configure these huts as well. The beekeeper's hut, we want breeding. We've got enough bees in there already, so we don't need breeding to be on. We want them to collect both honeycomb and honey. We can't do that yet, so we need to do a research to make it possible. We'll set it to honeycomb for now, but we will have to come back and set it to honey, because honey's pretty important for both cooking stuff and for the hospital getting cures. So yeah, the florist's hut. How do we get the flowers that we need in our florist huts? And honestly, it's pretty simple. You can come over here and you can select which flowers you want your florist to grow. Now, we kind of want everything here, with a couple of exceptions. So we don't want sunflowers because they're only good for yellow dye. If you haven't changed the items for recruiting new colonists, you will need sunflowers because sometimes they ask for those. But otherwise, dandelions are used for cures, so we don't want sunflowers. The same can be said about rose bushes. Wait. You can deactivate max 1 option. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, we'll stick to sunflowers as being the thing we turn off because it's only really good for dye. Now, having 3 flower shops should mean we can get loads and loads of plants planted. But we'll leave these guys to it and see what they come up with. What are you doing over here? Are you planting something in the ground? I don't see a flower, but I'll believe that you're doing it. If they say they're working, then they're working. Oh wait, Jessim has a request. Oh, so compost is required for the florists. Okay, that's good to know. So our composter hut is right next door, which is very handy. And this guy is working pretty hard, but I do think the composter is a building that could really benefit from an upgrade to level 4. So what kind of things do we need to get this to level 4? More of the same, that oxidized copper, dark oak, some glowberries, that could be an issue, and a torch flower. Oh my god, Spumantii, why have you done this? These things are tough to get. But you know what, level 4 and 5, they're supposed to be the cream of the crop. Getting to level 4 is supposed to be a bit of a challenge, and so I'm 100% behind the fact that it's quite tricky to achieve that goal. Anyway, the flower shop is set up, the beekeeper is set up. Next thing we're going to do is look into getting this oxidized copper. So I want to build one of these really cool things from that mod. Oxidized copper. It was a weathering station. Oh yeah, we're going to need the honeycomb. So I guess we just wait on that because those beehives are actually full of honey. Tell you what, let's use these post boxes. So we're going to come over here, open the post box, and we're going to request some honeycomb. We kind of want a lot of this, so we're going to ask for 20. Request. And we'll leave that to cook and see what happens. So we're also going to need some copper blocks to oxidize. Let's see if we can make those. I must have gathered loads of copper in my travels. Oh yeah, here we go. 47 blocks. That is a lot of copper. And while we wait for that honeycomb to be delivered, let's see if we can hire some more dudes, because guess what, my friends? Yeah, the tavern is stocked again with new dudes. Oh, look at this! King Two Flame. That's an amazing name. Welcome to the crew, King. Oh man, always wanted a king on the colony. Joseph Wolf, we'll get you in. Why not? I don't have the materials. I'm out of gold. Let's see if I've got some more in the computer. Here we go. It's an expensive job, but it's really worth spending the gold on these colonists. A lot of you guys are probably thinking, why aren't you using children? You can have children being born and you're going to get free colonists that are going to level up in the school and be much more amazing. And normally if I was playing a regular Minecolonies game, I would do that. However, because you Patreon and YouTube members have donated your names, I absolutely want to focus on getting those in. And colonists that are born will usually only have a name that belongs to their parents, right? So this makes much more sense. Joseph Wolf, welcome to the crew. Who else is knocking around? Sakura Baby still having a day off. Anybody else? Who's this over here? Jacob Ziltig. Amazing. So as of this moment, every single name that you guys have suggested is in the list. But I do have to apologize because it's possible that your name might not appear on the colony. There's a lot of names in that list, and it really does just come down to chance. The next time we play Minecolonies, if we do, we're going to make it so that you get your complete name on a colonist and it's not split between 2 names like first name and second name, but we'll go over how we're going to do that next series. So you should be able to just shift right click on a post box to open up the inventory. Oh yeah, amazing. And it looks like those honeycombs made their way over to us. Amazing. So now we can build this really cool oxidizer. So again, we're using all the mods 10. The version of all the mods 10 is in the description below. it probably isn't the most current, because what I don't like doing is upgrading my all the mods mid-series, because I'm recording this, and if the whole thing breaks and my colony gets deleted, that's a really bad situation. So I tend to stick on the same version. Oxidizer. Oxidized copper is made in a weathering station. We'll need a composter, and we'll make 2 because I think 2 of these going at the same time will be pretty handy. There's 1 and there's 2. Very cool. So let's go over to our crafting garden. Or can we put these inside? Yeah, we've got room inside actually. Let's put them at the back over here. So weathering stations, how do these work? That's a good question. I think we need a bucket of water. So let's go and grab one of those. There's 2 in here, that's perfect. And of course we need the copper. So if I right click on one of these with water, it fills it with water. Then if I put the block of copper in with a right click, it's doing something. But what is it doing? How long does this take? We'll fill up this one as well because, oh wow, that was quick. Yeah, look at that, 1 block of exposed copper. However, there is a problem. Every single time we oxidize a copper, it costs 1 water. So we need a way to get water automatically into these things. We can do that a couple of ways. We can use pipes, or we could just do this manually with buckets. Although waiting for buckets does kind of suck. So let's see if we can make a kitchen sink. Actually, you usually get kitchen sinks from doing quests, and I reckon I've done a whole bunch of quests now. So, oh, no kitchen sink here by the looks, but we did get a nice amount. Oh, honeycomb block. Oh, amazing. A nice amount of stuff that we can just chuck into our computer. Very cool. So the kitchen sink, bam, one of those is all we're going to need. We're also going to need some pipes, fluid pipes. They are blue. We'll need the pipe wrench to configure these pipes. And let's see if we can do this. And we're going to have to move these composters anyway, these block weatherers, because yeah, this is not a good place for them if we want to automate things. So we've come out here to our crafting garden, and this should be a very simple setup indeed. We'll put the kitchen sink, oh my god, these flowers, you can't plonk over them. So they can be a little bit annoying. We're going to need the kitchen sink. Where did that go? There it is. Put the kitchen sink down. We're going to pipe out of the kitchen sink. Like that. 2 weathering stations in front of it. Oh no. Oh, my dudes. That's unfortunate. We can't pipe into these weathering stations. Well, what if we put them on top? Maybe that works. No, looks like they don't pipe into. That's a bit of a shame. Okay, well, it means the pipes aren't really required. We're going to have to do this all manually with buckets, but that's still okay. It is still worth putting the sink near to these things because you want to be able to quickly kind of hoik in the water whenever you need. And now, with those in place, we can then re-weather this exposed copper until it's fully exposed. And we just wait for it to split. Bam, add some more water. Oh, look at this. Hang on a sec. So the water isn't being removed from this weathering station. I think that might be because the kitchen sink is nearby. So maybe these weathering stations actually function as pipes themselves, or they have some kind of compatibility with cooking for blockheads. Either way, this is very cool. Automated gathering of weathered copper. Oh man, that's super cool. Well, yeah, so we've got the shroom lights from the nether. We've got the candles via the beeswax. We've got weathered copper via these weathering stations. Very cool. I do believe we have everything we need now to get a level 4 building built. So let's go over to the lower city and see if we can now get the builder's hut to level 4. A big moment because, yeah, obviously, to get any building up to level 4, we need the builder's hut to be level 4. So why not start with the lower city? It's definitely my favorite part of the city right now. And it's also going to be much easier for you guys to see on the time lapse. Oh no, wait a minute, hang on a sec. There is one even more important thing that we need to make sure we have. Prismarine. Now, we've got 2 level 3 fisherman's huts, so I'm fairly confident we're going to have Prismarine inside here. But let's take a look. Oh yeah, perfect. 43 Prismarine, 67 Prismarine crystals. That's going to be more than enough to make these sea lanterns. So, with everything in position, let's go and watch the time lapse of the level 4 builder's hut going up. Very excited to see what this looks like. So the builder's hut here down in the lower city from level 3 to level 4, a big upgrade. With the builder's hut at level 4, it unlocks every single other building at level 4, so long as we can get the materials. And now we have access to both a mix of sea materials and nether materials. Buildings at level 4 are well within our reach. All of the tricky things we need for this build, we have in the palm of our hands. We've got honeycomb now for candles, we've got sea lanterns via the fisherman's hut, we've got the cyan dye for the shingles on the roof. But even though the builder's hut is a relatively small building, the time it takes for a builder to upgrade a building, no matter how small the building is a real chew. It takes the builder a long time to upgrade buildings sometimes, and they can still massively get stuck navigating their way around. So do be careful, especially on new styles like Shogun, because your builders might get a bit stuck. But true to form, Dunmore did get stuck several times during this build. But after a long and grueling period of going in there and breaking the blocks he couldn't get past, we did finally get from level 3 all the way to level 4. This thing looks amazing. Let's check it out in game. Oh my dudes, what a thing of beauty. I really do love the way these blue shingles work on the rooftops, the white walls, and is this mangrove? Yeah, the mangrove pillars and planks and panels and all the decoration. This thing really does look very impressive now. We will have to build a road here so the builder can, not go on grass to actually get to the main hut, but it looks really stunning. And I do think these are the final rooftops that the buildings use all the way through to level 5. So I'm not quite sure what really changes when we do go to level 5. But to prepare ourselves for that massive journey, let's go and take a look at what's required to upgrade. So build options and to upgrade, oh, here we go. So, wow, hang on a sec. This can't be right. Block of gold trapdoor, terracotta pillars. There's not all that much required to upgrade this. Okay, so this is very strange indeed. To upgrade this building now to level 5 doesn't actually need a single end material. There is smooth quartz blocks, so it's a nether material. There's dark oak and deep slate, but I am not detecting a single item from the end. We will require 4 torch flowers, so a big question is, where do you actually find torch flowers? It looks like we can grow them in the garden cloche, but I think they have to be found naturally. Okay, that's a tricky one. I'm not entirely sure where we could find a torch flower, and it looks like that's going to be the big thing to get this to level 5. But honestly, the fact that it doesn't use any materials from the end is music to my ears. That's crazy. I was worried we were going to have to kill the Ender Dragon, but it looks like we might not, at least for this building anyway. But the stage is set, my dudes. The Builder's Hut being level 4 gives us access to level 4 buildings around the entire colony. That's a pretty huge moment. Can you imagine what that ship's gonna look like at level 4? Pretty frickin' amazing. Can you imagine the Doggo Onsen at level 4? These estates? Maybe even the town hall? The sky is the limit, so I can't wait to start upgrading these buildings to level 4. Also checking out, I didn't realize this before, but there's actually an underground segment to the Builder's Hut now. Look at this. There's like a little kind of gutter with water in. I don't know why that's there, but I do like the look of it. There's a little painting, a little candle in the corner. Ah, that's where the candle goes. This is a nice little discreet area. Very cool. So my dudes, let's just take another look at this level 4 Builder's Hut bask in the glory. And yeah, oh man, a day's hard work. I reckon it's time to head over to the tavern and enjoy a drink with Kaito. Before we do though, I've got gold to splash. Only 2 stacks and a little bit, so we can't get loads of people in. but there are a few dudes over here ripe for the hiring. So we've got Sheila, Ender, and Hikari Lightbulb. Ooh, Hikari Lightbulb, that sounds pretty cool. Get you in. Only 20 gold as well, that's quite cheap. Who's this over here? It's Mike Bats. Anybody else interesting? Any names we haven't gotten yet? Oh, Odin 9. We haven't gotten a 9 yet, so we'll get you in. There we go, and we'll hold on to the gold for the rest of these names because they're not super important. So, Kaito, how's it going? Have you got a haiku for us? Something to celebrate us getting to level 4.
Level 4? That's a big moment, I think. Stone and wood unite. Villagers cheer, walls grow strong. Level 4 at last.
So there we go, my dudes. This episode has been pretty exciting. We've got all of our buildings now to level 3, and our first building, the Builder's Hut, to level 4. That paves the way for getting all of the other buildings on the colony to level 4, provided we can get the interesting materials required for those builds. Some of them are a bit weird. Next episode, I'd like to start with as many buildings as we can up at level 4, so we'll see how I do in the background. And maybe we can even go to level 5 next episode. So a massive thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And until next time, my dudes, take care.